Okay, it is 6 o'clock. Let's start. Now, do we have any public?
No, I don't think we have it, and nobody reached out.
Okay. How do the minutes look from last month? I didn't notice anything that needed to be corrected. Anyone want a motion to approve them?
I'll
I'll
motion.
motion. Oh, sorry.
You can say it first, and second. There we go. All in favor?
I,
Jeffrey abstains since he wasn't here in December.
be a quick meeting.
Was that, oh, there was.
We had food, we had food.
I missed it. Sorry, I missed it.
There's still cups circling, well.
You want to tell us about the new member?
Yeah, so we did a new orientation with Sangay on Tuesday, so he is up and running. He asked about how, and I hope he shows, he said he was coming.
Oh, Katie's trying to get it.
Oh, Katie's trying to get in, let's get her in.
Is the door open or do you want me to check?
Could you check?
No, it's, I opened it.
Oh, you opened it? Hey, Katie.
I think
Oh, we'll wait till he comes in and I'll talk.
There he is.
You're right.
We did approve the minutes.
Yeah, sit wherever you like. I think you need to get the whole packet. And then you want to use a packet of you. All right. So yeah, we did you remember we did the Sangay on Tuesday, so he is good to go on that side. I still got to do the city one, but they should reach out. So now every year we elect new officers, and we have 2 officer positions in this board. We have a chair and a vice chair. The major duties, right, is really the chair facilitates the meeting and the vice chair steps in. This year, we actually have a board, a council member who's gonna be more engaged. And he's already reached out to.
He's emailed twice.
He's already emailed twice. He can't be here tonight, unfortunately, but he is reaching out to Martha, who was interim chair until we choose a new chair. So, okay. So yeah, I think at this point, we can start with the vice chair, and we get nominations on the board, and anybody wants to put their hat in the ring?
I would nominate Martha as chair. You've been the vice chair for a year. It seems.
You want to do it?
I mean, I covered quite a bit, so.
Yeah.
It's not all the different.
All right.
But I am proud of democracy, so if anybody else wants it, we can do whatever.
We can vote and
Vote.
I'm not seeing.
I vote for Martha.
I like
So-
Martha too.
You're actually seconding Jeffrey's motion.
Yeah, and I'm
Go to Martha
seconding.
chair. And, all right, so all in favor of Martha being the chair? All right, it's unanimous. Okay, so now we need a vice chair. Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna motion who?
Anybody want it?
There's a role of the vice chair.
It's basically to back up the chair. Typically, the chair does most of the work, but if there's, for whatever reason, the chair can't be there, then the vice chair has to facilitate the meetings. And we'll make sure, like, if, for example, like, Councilor Marsting emailed you, we'll make sure that if he's gonna email you, he emails wherever the vice chair is as well. Just, yeah,
I'll throw my name in the hat.
that's true.
Nice.
All right. Anybody else?
Was that Mark?
Okay. Yeah,
I second that.
okay. We got a motion and a second. A Mark motion. Everybody vote?
And then Katie second, right?
Yep. All right.
Yay.
Thank you
So
both.
now you have your chair and vice chair for 2026.
Congratulations.
All right. All right, so number 5 is mine. And so tonight, what I really wanted to just talk to the board, we don't need to make a decision tonight. Do you mind pulling up in your packet, if you could look for the site visit piece in the manual? I want the board to see it so we can talk about it. Because what I'm looking for tonight is just some guidance, because I'm just wondering, is it serving you all, or is there something else that we should be considered doing around these site visits? Now, these are not for applicants, these are for people that we're already funding. And they're really meant for, the site visits are really meant to give you all kind of a picture of here how things are going. And so so if we can share that, and if we can then scroll down to where the site visit is. I'll think I brought it up. Yeah, pull it up. And then go all the way down to the site visit stuff. I know there's a lot of, the manual is huge, I get it. And I'm gonna get the fifth version to this. And I'll make sure I get copies for the board. Keep going. This is a huge piece.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I'm visually lective.
I think we may see you go back up, because now that's already.
You can do control and this coach.
Yes, it's that.
So it's page 111.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so I wanted to show this to you. I mean, we can keep things as is. But this is the Human Services Agency site visit, the procedures, and here's what I do. So everybody Cassie, can you see it?
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't
I
see
mean,
it?
I can see the something, but I can't see, when you scroll down, it didn't scroll for me.
Okay, share it again.
Yeah, I was seeing kind of what looked like a document, but was not very, I don't think it was what you were talking about. Yeah, now that's
Oh,
different.
now,
That
yes.
looks like it. Yeah.
So basically, the site visit is in two pieces, okay? One piece is really where I go and talk about with the agencies about their program and services, their impact and the story. And then there's the desk audit, which is, that's the more complicated piece where I ask for a ton of documents. And I mean, I can show you guys, somebody sent me a box with about 500 pages of documents. I did not read all those 500 pages. I just had to skim through them. And then, so I do that. I look at their financials, their operation. And when I talk about operation and management, typically that's just me reviewing their personnel manuals, making sure that they have things like conflict of interest and grievance policies, et cetera. I have a lot of conversation about grievance policies in these site visits. And then, I just make sure that, how many folks are they working with in Longmont, things like that. I've really never done a corrective action plan. Most of our agencies are in good standing. Some of the newer ones that I've talked to in the last few years, I've recommended things. I haven't made a corrective. Like, for example, there was one agency who had multiple volunteer forums, and I'm like, it would probably make sense if you created a single volunteer management document with all the forms you needed. Or, they didn't have a really robust employee manual. I said, well, what if this happens? How are you covered? So things like that. It's just basically supporting them. So if you want to go down a little bit, Amy. So go back up a little bit. So this is what I was going to ask about tonight. We do it on a 3-year rotation, primarily because there's so many agencies that we fund. And because of how deep the desk audit goes, I can't do more. And even then, when this was first written, we were funding maybe 32 agencies, 35. We funded 62 agencies this year, right? So it's going to be a lot. typically when I know Mark's gone with me, it's also hard because many of you work and I do these during the day. We do the checklist. I do the checklist, ISSC agency, again, I haven't had any corrective action plans. The whole point of this is to provide the board with information about the agencies. And my question for the board tonight is, the way we've been doing it, is it still helpful? Is there something else? Like, for example, I was telling Martha that, would it be more helpful instead of doing, this formal desk audit process, if we asked them to create a 5-minute video that I could share here about, standardizing, tell us what you're doing with our funding, tell us about your program. Would that be more helpful? That's just a thought. But that's what I was coming to the board tonight. That's why I wanted to have this conversation. You can stop sharing. Cassie and Katie have it in their packet. So yeah. Okay, go ahead, Cassie.
Well, I was just responding and, I'm like the new generation. A 5-minute video is much better for me than reading pages and pages. So I like that idea.
It's just in response to the site visit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the application. This is not the application. I just got, I don't want to go off on a side tangent because we're having this conversation, but I remember I told the board that Boulder County had paid for a evaluation, application evaluation process they were doing. I just got the results yesterday. I haven't read them. I can read them and we can talk about it in February. But yeah, no, this is not about the application. This is about the board wanted those site visits just to keep engaged with the nonprofits that we're funding. So these are not people that we're not funding. These are people we have agreements with.
I like I signed up for site visits and I did 2 last year, and I wanted to do 3 or 4, which just gets hard.
It does, totally.
But I got a lot out of going along with the site visit, and I know I had the time to be able to do that.
Right.
So I think that was, I like that. So I think the board members should still be offered to go.
Okay.
I get a lot out of it, I think, and I think, kicking the tires at the location and showing up is probably a good thing. You can read the paperwork and stuff, but I think going there and seeing their operation helps understand. I like that. I also like a 5-minute summary too, because I think that can give a lot of, insight into that. I guess so that's my feeling, but I was guessing we're getting back to the number of agencies that we have now that we've funded and the rotation. Is that feasible for you? Because that's a lot of work and a lot of,
well, so here's that
coordination. And
yeah, it is.
Is that structure too much?
Well, I'll do it. My thought was, the other thing I was going to talk about is, if we were to say we will only do a desk audit with new agencies and not because once we have it, really all that happens every 3 years is if there's a change, then I get it. But if we were to say we are only going to do the desk audit with the new agencies, for example, this year we funded 2 new agencies. Right. If I only had to do 2 desk audits, I'm willing to do all the site visits with all 62, because really what's time consuming is I'm reading tons of pages.
Yeah.
Like I would feel comfortable saying I'm willing to do site visits with everybody if I don't have to do the desk audit.
And then when the applications come in, you're doing some similar background review.
Yeah.
You're kind of duplicating your efforts.
If it's a new agency, I'm not, but with current agents, even though, we talked about this, Martha found stuff that I missed and then I followed up with it. There's no getting around it. There's a ton of reading to do, right? You all know this, you all read the applications. I'm just thinking that I could potentially visit all the agencies and it would be less admin work and more engagement work.
Is visiting all of the agencies necessary though, do you think? I'm just throwing it out there.
it would be helpful, but I don't think it'd be necessary.
Oh, there's so much fraud, right? No. Just, I don't want to get sidetracked. My only thing is for the 5-minute video, I like it as a concept, but I would want like the same kind of question
Yes.
and the same
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
We would,
sizzle reel
Answer
situation.
these questions.
yeah, I would standardize and I would ask them, yeah, to be
It's like some
standard.
people might just.
Yeah, no, I would,
You know?
yeah.
But it would be a
Very good.
fairly low bar, where you don't want to put a whole bunch of extra work on these
Right,
organizations, so something they can put together relatively quickly to address some basic questions, and then how would you implement that into our meetings?
so we could put it as a standing agenda item, right? If we had 50 minutes of our agenda could be watching 3 videos.
And with 12 meetings, we could get through, I did math that quickly, but we could get through
36,
36, and you said that's more than half
yeah,
of each of the organizations.
Yeah.
So I'm not able to attend a site visit.
yeah, I know, I
It would
totally
be-
understand.
It would be valuable. I would be certainly willing to give up 15 minutes in a meeting so I can get a glimpse of who these organizations are.
Okay. Well, I don't need a motion for this. This is not a motion. This is just a conversation. I just need direction. Cassie has a question.
Well, I'm just wondering, because time is precious at these meetings, could we just, if you just share the videos and we could all watch the 5 minutes on our own, or does that make it messier?
Could do that as well. Could do that as well. We can talk, yeah,
One thing that's really valuable for me is that you have such great contact with these organizations. So having a 5-minute video where I get an overview, but if I don't understand something, I kind of like being able to say, can you make sense of that for me?
yeah.
So I don't know, Cassie, if we gave up 15 or 20 minutes each meeting, do you think that's too much?
No, that's
I think it
fine.
depends on the
No,
meeting.
yeah, we can watch the videos together. That's
I
fine.
mean, there's,
That's a good point you made, and I agree with it.
yeah, like it depends on the meeting. It's like, so for example, we know for a fact that, is it our March or our May meeting?
For our applications?
Yeah,
May.
May.
That would probably
We'll
not
have
be
to
that
make
meeting that we would need to, we'd be able to cut out 20 minutes.
Right, we can't cut out what's 20, May is gonna be a,
Yeah.
we might even have to move to a bigger room in May. I think we've talked about that. Just because.
Making us out like we're the bad guys.
No, guys, I'm just
No, I
saying.
do think having a bigger room, we were a little cramped.
Yeah, we were a little bit like sardines here the last one. So I think we're gonna move in, you don't remember? Like we had to sitting on top of each other.
Double the size.
No, 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 like, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll probably have a bigger room for the main meeting, so just be aware of that. But again, getting back to this point, I think it'll depend on the meeting, and if there's a meeting that's lighter, we can do more videos about these agencies and about what they're doing, and we can have more questions and conversations. I guess what I'm trying to do is, the purpose behind the site visits is for the board to be more aware about how the funding is being used, what the programs that we're doing, how many folks are, et cetera. And I'm just trying to find ways to enhance that for the board. That make sense?
I would like a little bit of both, if you could, because even if you watch them during the meetings, we're not gonna be able to get through all of them. So if you could just share all of them. We also look at some together,
Okay.
and then you're pretty easy to reach out to, so if you have any questions.
Oh, yeah, of course. The board, if anybody has any questions or about any agency, you can reach out to me, but yeah. Okay,
And this isn't I mean, you work so hard and do so much. This isn't an extra burden for you to coordinate.
no, and I was telling Christina, one of the things I want to do that I think that I need to, that I'm excited about this year, because I made the decision that I really want to have more engagement with our nonprofits.
This would be another unique way of having that engagement, then, yeah.
Because I think we're coming into a time, and you all know this, where we told council, if you saw the December now, and I recommend all of you to go back and look at December council meeting where Christine and I presented your recommendations. We told them we were going back in March, and there's some conversation about exact timing. But they understand the kind of conversations that we're having about human services funding. And so, I think this is going to be important to make sure that we are engaging more often, more strategically with our nonprofits, depending on where next the 2027 cycle goes. So yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this conversation and get some input from the board about it. Any more thoughts? So I think what I have now is like the idea of the videos, but still want some of that more formal conversation. So if board members have more questions.
Well, and I think it's, how many organizations are we funding now? This is 26, 62. So we have 62 organizations. We've all sat through a handful of, quite a few of them. I feel like I have a good grasp on 25% of them, maybe 30. I don't have a grasp on 62 organizations.
Well, I mean, some of them
I mean, they're,
in my head are redundant,
Yeah.
so it would be interesting to have something that could define and separate them out a little more, because on paper, some of them look like practically identical.
very similar. And so I can't sit here and say I understand these 62 organizations inside and out. I don't.
Like the two
But
horse therapy ones.
Well, we only funded one of them.
Medicine Horse
Yeah,
and the other one.
the
Allegiant Ranch,
like,
but we didn't fund Allegiant Ranch in its core hideout to be funded.
They both have horses.
They both have horses, yes. They both do equine therapy, but yeah,
Right.
so.
And you'll still do some site visits, so if people.
Well, yeah.
Members are welcome. to-
Yeah, I'll bring back, like, I'm gonna bring back in February, just like, I'll go back and see who's in the 3-year cycle, so I'll bring back both, that, so you can see how many we would if we kept it the same.
Any other question?
Yeah, Katie has a question. Or comment.
Yeah, what, I guess I'm just thinking about, one of the things I would want to be super thoughtful about is just what we're asking them to do. And because I would not want to create the grant application itself is already pretty robust and challenging, and I would say maybe overkill. So I would just also wanna, if we're gonna ask folks to do a video, to be very clear about, the scope, and so that we don't have people off. Because some folks will have videos already. They've probably done them for other applications or other
Right.
uses, right? Fundraising, whatever, but the smaller ones won't. So I would also just want to be kind of measured in thinking about whatever burden this might be placing. I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying I'd want to communicate, we're talking about something just super primitive here. Don't go
Right,
producing.
yeah, we're not asking for,
Right.
yeah. Maybe 3 simple questions about, hey, tell me a little bit about your program. Kind of the questions that you guys asked, I was really, really impressed and happy with the kind of questions that were asked at this year's hearing, what are you doing with the funding? Tell me about your program and who you're serving.
Are you thinking this would be a requirement to qualify for an app?
It's never been a requirement in the past. It's because remember, these are already funded agencies. These are not
Okay,
applicants. These are people that we are funding right now.
so if they.
It's more of, hey, we funded you. We'd like to know how things are going.
So it's a request.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would say, along the lines of Katie, I would say, I dare to say no PowerPoints. Because some of the agencies will pull PowerPoints up and that's all we'll see.
Yeah.
They'll answer the questions through PowerPoint and it's either we allow it or we don't. I don't think switching back and forth between
Right.
PowerPoint and online video human interaction is great in 5 minutes,
Right.
But I would be careful about, I love the idea of having a couple or 2 or 3 simple questions for them to answer, but I think we get into creating a list of criteria and formats, and styles and all that kind of stuff. You're going to have to, massage these
Right.
videos to get them exactly what you want. So I just would be careful about creating a lot of work around this.
Right. No, and I don't want to be, again, ultimately is how do I get you all the information that you need in a way that makes it digestible,
Efficient.
and efficient. Yeah.
Or make it like don't spend any more than this amount to make it, because we might get like somebody who's hired a videographer
Yeah.
Yeah.
and, Blair Witch Project.
Right.
Right. No, I would create something that would be, again, simple. We could put some basic parameters. Again, don't do a PowerPoint, just talk to us about, here are these 3 questions, don't need super videography, just, this is really for the board who funded you.
Like, tell us what a day looks like.
Yeah, whatever, the board wants to know
What's
more.
the process that
Yeah.
a client
Yeah.
gets when they come in?
Yeah.
Don't spend your nonprofit dollars on video.
Right, no, that's not the point, they say you just don't.
Spend your money on- Let's see it.
Yeah.
Person's time. Lots of things.
Exactly,
One idea is you could do like a pilot round and say take 10 or 15 organizations,
that's true.
send them this request and see what you get back. And then, for the board to
Not a bad
provide
idea.
feedback of
Like that.
if you're liking the video idea rather than
Random drop.
sending it out
That's a good idea.
to all 60 some, just start with like a smaller sample.
Okay. Kathy's got her hand up.
Oh, that was the same thing that you just said. I was gonna say, why don't we do it on a trial basis rather than have 62 videos and realize they're not that good or whatever, just pick a handful or so and try them.
Here's what I'll do, that's actually a great idea, what I wanna do, and we'll put it on the agenda for February, is I'm gonna reach out to agencies that I, have worked with for years, that we funded for years, and I'm gonna say, here's an idea that our Housing and Human Services Advisory Board is thinking, and we're gonna pilot it with you all. I'll pick about 10 agencies, and I'll ask for a 5-minute video with just some basic information. So it'll be on our February agenda, and I will have hopefully at least 3 videos to show that night, and then we can decide, this is what we need, this is helpful, let's continue, or let's do something else.
We could easily do it with this whole.
Exactly, we're not asking for it,
It's simple.
okay? All right,
Great
They can inject fun,
Great idea.
we'll be paying attention. We look at TikTok and social and all that stuff. Not gonna hurt them.
all right. That's the guidance I needed, thank you, I'll bring something for the February board. Then the next agenda is all of us, all staff, because this is the work plan for this year. And so I'm gonna turn it over to Christy because you have most of February through May, your kind of, is your show.
You pull it up.
Yeah, I was gonna,
Oh, I can give it to you right now too, if you want.
I think that they, yeah. too.
Yeah, if you want, so it's a.
And I'll start by introducing HCI staff for Sanjay, since you're new. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for joining the board. So I'm Christy Wiseman. I'm the manager of the Housing Community Investment Division. So we're kind of the other half of who presents to you all. And then Alexis, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Alexis McCowan. I'm the Housing Community Investment Specialist. So be here giving lots of fun.
Nice to meet you.
So Alexis is one of, there's 3 other folks on our team in addition to Alexis with myself that makes up the HCI team. And I report to our housing director, Molly O'Donnell. So you might see her in these meetings as well. All right, so Alberto might have explained this in your kind of orientation, and then existing board members know, but generally the first half of the year is more heavy on the HCI side in terms of applications and policy work. And then the second half of the year is more heavy on Alberto's funding round. So we're here in January. I know last year we came with a special policy presentation in February. We will not be doing that again this year. But February, I think we have an opportunity to kind of continue revising this work plan and then hopefully finalize it. And then Alberto will be doing the HSBC report. And then will that include the program evaluation from Boulder County that you were mentioning, or is that separate?
I could do that. I think I did already, but I can do it again.
The like study that you mentioned you just got yesterday?
It just got.
Oh, no, that's that human services funding.
Oh, different. Okay.
Yeah, I might
I
be
have that mixed up.
yeah, so that is a study that Boulder County paid for recently. And what they did was they did interviews with agencies. To Katie's point earlier, it is a pretty big application. And so they're gonna, so there's two questions that they're asking. One is, does it still make sense for us to do a joint application because Boulder has its priorities, we have our priorities, and Boulder County has their priorities, and so they're gonna, so that's different, but yeah, I should add that to the work plan.
Thanks for that. I was mixing those two up.
Yeah.
So really our two big meeting months for this board are March and May. So March will be our big show. There might be not much time for videos, depending
That's
how
fine.
the videos work out. So in March, we essentially do our 2025 year in review. So we'll present our CAPER, which is a fancy acronym, which is basically our annual report that we submit to HUD on our federal funding. And as part of that, we wrap in our local funding as well as the deep dive into our inclusionary housing program. So it's kind of, here's everything HCI accomplished in 2025. So we present that to you all in March, and that we kind of get your recommendation for approval, and then we'll do that same presentation to City Council later in the month, and then we submit that to HUD by the end of March. And then also in March, we generally release our funding application towards the end of the month. So we'll be doing that for 2026. And then April looks like might have some site visit report outs. And
Yeah, I
then
think April will be, so Christina and I are still having conversations with city leadership about our going back to council. So April may be something that we keep an eye on, because it may be a reporting back council direction and how we respond to that.
you have a March study session.
I don't know, we're still, I think Christina's working with Jen and Harold on figuring out the right timing for this.
And then May is our other big month. So May is when all of our applicants present. And we have much fewer applicants. So I think last year we had 4 or 5. So we generally like them to come in person. And it's usually the same suspects. So we can probably expect Habitat for Humanity of the Safe Rain Valley, the In Between, Thistle Community Partners. Those are some of our nonprofit affordable housing partners that generally apply every year. So some of those names, and then potentially new ones. I'm not anticipating a ton of applications. I think we'll probably be in the 4 to 5 range again. And then you all will hear those presentations and vote on your funding recommendations, and then we will take that recommendation to City Council in June. And then you get back to you for the rest of the year.
Yeah, so then I kind of take over again in June. So again, this can change, but traditionally we've had a logic model outcome training. We've looked at the funding part. Again, this may change based on what happens with council. I just kept it on. And so we look at our funding priority. Are we going to change to 6 priorities? Are we not? You know, so that, but again, that's going to be dependent on council. We tend to release the Human Services Agency application in June. And we've talked about having a city manager report. That's hard only because it's hard to pin our city manager down.
But if we could do it now, if we get him, I mean, that's probably the best case scenario if we schedule it now for an
Okay.
update. Like, the only thing that he would switch on us is any emergencies, right? Amen.
We have it in June right now, but I guess the question to you, Christina, is how far, so one of the main reasons that we have the city manager here is to talk to us about the budget process. Is that too early?
That's right at the end of the fiscal year.
And we're January to December. But our budget process, we have to have, I would say March, April would be better, because we have to have our budget's in by Memorial Day.
Well, that the world is May. So I guess the question I have is the reason that we bring the city manager here is because folks want to know more about,
The budget process and
yeah,
so would he come March, April or June?
or should he come later till,
Didn't he come in October?
he came in
Later
October?
this year.
Yeah, is it, I think,
I think it depends on what you would want to know from him.
so Katie has a question.
Well, I was just gonna recommend, I mean, one of the things that I think is extremely helpful is if folks can attend or even get a video of the State of the City report, because I feel like if which happens, I think, annually in October. But I think a lot of like, in terms of thinking about being informed enough to benefit from a sort of targeted presentation, I would encourage, like, that happens in October. So I wonder if, you know, trying to seek some time with him after that, you know, would allow us to be a little more informed before getting, you know, on the general situation before getting specific. It's just a thought.
Okay, good thought.
I think originally maybe there was some interest from some board members in having an opportunity to shape the budget, contributing to some of the feedback before it's finalized. I think that's why maybe it got pushed up in the calendar, but I don't know that that's something that I feel equipped to do. I really like the idea of understanding the whole city's, you know, vision, and then having Harold come and tell us what, you know, the budget is, what the city's focusing on, how we fit into that. So the later in the year, it makes more sense to me, but I know that there was maybe a different perspective at a previous meeting, and don't know if that's something that.
Depends on what you want to
Why so?
accomplish, right? Like, do you want to hear from him the budget projections for 2027? Want to meet with him before it kicks off, or do you want to hear, like he does, the state of the city later in the year as well? It just depends on what you.
So I just noticed that we have it twice on here. I don't think we can get it twice. I think we just gotta make a decision about what.
Where's the second? Oh, I see December.
This is ever,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think you should ask him.
we could.
Which would make more sense to him.
I think he'd be open to what. It's really up to you guys, and then we just coordinate with him.
Let's see, we have until, between here and February, that's something that we can put on our to-do list.
Okay, but we could.
Yeah, so we finalized this work plan in February. So we can put that on to-do list. Moving on, July. This is when we talk about how, and again, we did, this is a lot in the air, right? If we decide to change, if we change application processes, we probably won't do a founded training if things go with doing that goes. But we tend to decide, you know, what's our funding allocation approach? Like, the last couple of years, we've all said, yeah, let's keep the standard deviation. We can change that in July, if there's another way to go. And then we start, in August, I'll try and do a mid-year report on HSBC and homesteading. And then kind of September, we tend not to have a meeting because we're in the midst of a ton of, same thing, September and October, we tend not to have meetings unless we have to, because we're in the midst of hearings.
And we generally will always be at Housing Colorado.
Right, so you're not
week of
there,
October, so we won't be there.
Right, they're at their conference. And of course, November, that night is reserved for when we make our final recommendations. And then in December, we kind of like we did this year, we'll have a dinner and we'll have a debrief, and potentially the city manager again, we'll see. So generally, does this look okay? We'll come back in February with some updates. We'll watch this video and think about when should Harold come. What hopefully soon we'll learn more about when we're going to council.
Yeah.
So hopefully by the February meeting, we'll get you all an update about this is when we're going to council.
Is that a standard expectation that you go to council that?
No,
Special requests?
yeah, this has been 3 years in the making as we've seen the growth in applications and just how we're diluting the funding. And we have a new council too, right? And so they're looking at things as well.
We have 3 new members.
Yes. Out of 7, so that's quite a bit of turnover. Katie has her hand up.
Sorry to keep doing that.
No worries.
I was just gonna suggest, perhaps also in the interim, if we are gonna be checking with Harold about timing, I wonder if you could also check to see if his most recent, because it was just October, just this past October, and I think it would be relevant. If he has a copy, if they did record his, I couldn't find it, but if they did record his presentation, or perhaps he has it, I think it would benefit the board to have an opportunity to watch it, perhaps just, in a video
can
link
look for
or
it.
whatever. But
YouTube. I have his PowerPoint. Amy thinks it's on YouTube. But
Oh,
at
you
a very minimum, I have his PowerPoint.
that would be awesome. And I think if it's on YouTube, if you guys could, confirm that would be awesome. I
Not the
think
one that
people
he
would
did for
find it
us.
helpful. Yeah.
No.
He did one for the chamber that I think
He had
was the
he had a
recorded
few
one.
slides, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one he does, I think maybe it is for the chamber, but it's like
It is.
everybody and their uncle comes to it. So it's like, it's well
can tell you
advertised,
when
so a lot of folks go.
Found it. You found it?
All right, so we'll send you all that link and we'll send you the PowerPoint as well.
Yeah, one.
Oh, yeah, it's recorded. Amy already found it. She's quick.
Yeah. So I guess any other thing to think about this work plan, and we'll come back in February to finalize it.
This last year, we had the special meeting, and it was talking about the funding, right, on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
focused on,
It would focus only on, and we made some really big decisions, like, for example, we allowed direct financial assistance, and we funded a whole bunch of direct financial. That was a big decision that you all made.
That's what you have that topic in June.
Right, and we did it in April because we went to, and we made, again, Christina, I know, is working with Jen, our city manager, and Harold to see how we interact with council on it. So we'll have more an update in February. Any other thoughts on this work plan?
I like seeing it in a list like this.
It can always change, it always does change, and it's just a general, here's what we're thinking of doing. And if things change, they can.
This year, we elected a new advisory board member. Does that need to be on our agenda? Are there gonna be any vacancies in 2026?
Good point.
Good point, yeah, we should probably be in here somewhere, it's a good point, we need to find in May. And so if you all don't wanna read the applications apiece, you all need to go out and recruit 3 more members. The more members we have.
Applications to the board.
Yeah. I think it's gonna open up, and of course we'll let you know, I believe it's gonna, no, it opens up like in April, March or April, and then they get appointed in June. Okay. We have 3 vacancies right now, Sangay joined us, so that puts us up to 6, and we have 3 vacancies. Cassie has her hand up.
So there's someone I wanted to ask if they'd be interested. Do you have a good description of, I probably should have it, but of what the
So
position entails?
So city clerk has that.
Okay,
Yeah, they had a little advertisement piece.
I'll
But
find it.
if not, I'd be happy to talk to anybody that you all find, like, just throw them my way out. I will have coffee with them. I will talk to them about the board. I'll be realistic about the work.
Make them banana.
I'll make them a dinner. You know, this is.
We're not above bribery now.
This board does a lot, you all do a lot of work. There's no. It's a great board and you do a ton of work. There's no question about that.
We should search at libraries, like, because there's a lot of reading.
Yeah. it's a lot of work. So
Have to like do it for fun.
I can put in the description of the after them.
that'd be great.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, and then I think we need to add, yeah, we're gonna do interviews, just like we did with Sangay. We're gonna do interviews, so I need to find out, we need to get the timing and then add it to the work plan. The work-
Interviews.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to do the interviews, just like we did with all, yeah.
Would it help to just open up the application sooner?
We
2 months.
we don't control that.
Oh,
It goes all on a process, like the city clerk directs that process.
Yeah.
But that would be so easy if we could.
Yeah,
Amazing if we.
I would approve now, but I mean, yeah, we have to follow their process. So,
Oh, Alberto, I just thought of one that I neglected to add. We will have an agenda item that will be a presentation slash discussion with the board and obviously open to the public related to our housing needs assessment, which we're updating this year.
did you do it in 2023?
Yes,
We're doing it again?
we are required by the state. to do it again. We very graciously got a grant from DOLA. And we're working on procurement to get a consultant right now, but we will use a board meeting to talk about that. And I don't know exactly what date it'll be. It'll probably be summer.
Okay.
And I'll think about that more before
Are you gonna-
February. So we
Are you
can-
gonna do focus groups? Okay.
It won't be a full blown, like redo. It's gonna be a targeted update to the 2023 housing needs assessment because it is relatively fresh.
Yeah,
But it's missing certain pieces that are now state requirements. But at one meeting, from this board, we'll talk about that and, it'll probably be, late spring, summer, if I had to guess. Not May, we would not.
no, I think May needs to be
So probably June or
dedicated.
July or August.
Yeah, May needs to be dedicated to your big, that's the big.
Yeah, but I forgot to add that on
No, we're not.
so,
Yeah, we don't find it until February, so between here and there, we think about stuff.
yeah, and that needs to be done by the end of the year, so we do have some time.
Okay. All right. You can stop sharing that. So, yeah, so just wanted to keep the board up to date on the work that we're doing and we'll make sure in February we bring that. And then, I think the last thing before we adjourn on other business, Councilmember Marsing sent out a document to, Chair Wilson. And, we can
Sure.
yeah, we can share, but we'll send it to you anyway. We have it. And then, he just sent it out. I think he sent it out
Did I this morning?
this morning. Just something he wants the board to be aware of. And again, this is part of the council conversations. Yeah. I think that's it. Yeah. So again, we will send this out, along with the link to the state of the city and all that. So this is, just came out from CDEC, around what's happening around, childcare funding. The administration, I believe, has cut off
Locked up federal dollars.
they're locked up federal dollars. And so he just
Yeah.
wanted. Yeah, he just wanted this board to see this.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we've already allocated our dollars. We just wanted us to be aware of of this reality.
He sent this one, which was specific to childcare, and then I sent another one that also gave specifics about the cuts to TANF and,
You wanna pull that up?
social services.
Yeah, we'll send them out to you all. We'll send them out to you all. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, that you saw the,
Like the reality of how it's going to be impacted was at least beneficial for me to see like the number of affected people. And then actually the date of when, like, if nothing happens between now and February, like a bunch of people are gonna fall off of an economic cliff.
I could just.
Attach it to the note.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll send it out. Just wanted to make sure you're aware of that.
We'll send him the statement that Councilmember Marsing sent and then,
There it is. There, this is it right here.
okay.
There we go.
And yeah,
So these two documents will be added to your, to the, sent out in the minutes as well.
These were just released the last couple of days.
yeah.
This is probably an unanswerable question, but what kind of impact will that have? These
So if you read,
have to Longmont.
so Chairperson Wilson can talk about what she's learned. If you read the one that Councilor Marsing said, the way I understood it, and correct me if I'm wrong, the way I understood it was like, right now, because CCAP's already locked up anyway, there's not much impact. The problem becomes if CCAPS gets unlocked, these funding restraints would affect future CCAP recipients and make it more difficult for them to receive that support.
Okay.
It doesn't affect immediately just because CCAP's already frozen.
It's been frozen for a while. Only people with like active child welfare cases had access to any kind of CCAP funding. But the tricky part for, at least as a social worker who has to like come up with a plan for people who literally have nothing or rely heavily on TANF. It's what to do in the interim. So like gathering resources for like local food banks and who do we have that can provide help with housing, or if a bunch of people all of a sudden lose daycare, where do their kids go?
Right. So the other piece that he points out in the communication he sent is that it's a stated priority of city council. And it really sits in the intersection of housing stability, workforce participation, family economic security, and long-term community well-being. So I think he just wanted to underline that, that what's going on at the national level and that this is a stated priority of the council as well, and how it kind of intersects with the mission of the Housing and Human Services Advisory Board and what impacts that might have as we move forward in the grant, as we roll out the grants and kind of how that would play out. I think he wanted to give a heads up to just kind of start thinking about that when it becomes unaffordable and families are placed into difficult choices. Like it's going to have a domino effect, I think is what he wanted to.
So we'll send out what he sent Martha, and we'll send out these two documents as well to make sure the board has it. All right.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
So we're also on the cusp of a state legislative session, wondering if city staff are, obviously we're probably tracking that. Is there any big bills that we should be aware of?
What we will get, so Sandy Cedar, our assistant city manager, for shared services, is also the legislative lobbyist for the city and tracks bills. And so a couple things. One, she will send things my way that have to do with anything in our department to kind of provide an opinion to to whether it should be something that we support as a city, stay neutral on, oppose. She does that. I would say that the converse is also true. If you know of a bill that's coming up that you think is particularly relevant to this work, it doesn't hurt to shoot us a message, shoot me a message, Eliberto, and we can make sure that Sandy tracks that for us.
I don't know if you know if any housing things are coming up.
I have a couple things, more so on the housing development side. I think we're gonna see another crack at construction defects. Construction defects litigation has really hampered down new condo and townhome construction. Those are the housing types we often see as like starter homes, and it's really affected the housing supply. The legislature has taken a crack at construction defects legislation in the last few sessions, and I think there's still a sense that they haven't made enough of a difference to really make builders feel comfortable enough to want to do more condo projects. So I think we'll see that again. And then I have heard that this is more nuanced, but in my world, in terms of tracking our Proposition 123 commitment for the state, which is a 3-year commitment where we, along with municipalities across the state, promise that we will increase our supply of affordable housing by a certain number in 3-year periods. So the first counting period is coming up at the end of 2026, and I have heard that there might be a bill kind of cleaning up the methodology of how those units are getting counted, because there's still some unanswered questions between local governments and the state on how those will be counted, and that's critical because staying in compliance with Proposition 123 is what enables us to get a lot of the grants we've recently received from the state. So I think those will be more like technical kind of tweaks to hopefully make it easier for us to meet our numbers. But those are the two that I have heard, again, more on the construction kind of side.
And we'll keep this board up to date if there's anything that,
And as Christina said, we, my director, Molly, and all of us as staff, we have the opportunity to weigh in bills that Sandy filters through from the city perspective, and they can decide whether to, put the effort into supporting or opposing a particular bill as the city of Longmont with that expertise on how it will affect our programs. But I think it'll be not quite as crazy of a housing year as the last couple of years have been in terms of numbers of bills, because last year and 2023 were wild. So we'll see how many we have to read, but I think the governor met a lot of his legislative priorities, things that he wanted to see done before he's turned out. Last year, they kind of checked off a lot of things that they were really pushing for. So we'll see some bills, but I don't think we'll see the number in our program areas that we saw last year. I think it'll be a little bit less. That's my, unexpert opinion. Yeah.
I'll be there on opening day and I'll get the calendar of events.
Okay, good.
Thank you. See what's coming.
So I had,
Anything else that anyone has? All right. Anyone want to motion for adjournment? Early, a whole hour early.
yes,
See, this would have been a good plug for the 5-minute videos.
Right, we didn't have done an hour before the.
all right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Night all.